And are starting. All right, so welcome again to Military Guna TV, and I have a special guest here, a Japanese correspondent who is going to speak about the under 24 Olympic team. Why do I keep on saying under 23? I'm fighting.
All
I'm always
your
fighting with the
followers
viewers.
keep saying it.
Yeah,
You're
I'm always
getting
fighting
caught
with the
up.
viewers, and then I'm saying the same thing now. But in the same sense, thank you for being here with me. I won't introduce you. I want you to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself. What do you do? What kind of work you do? And what you're here for to help me with today.
Thanks for having me. I'm Dan Orlowitz. I am the head soccer writer at the Japan Times, which is the biggest English language newspaper in Japan. I cover the J League. I cover our national teams. I cover our women's league, grassroots. And I guess I'm here to help you know what Jamaica is going to be facing on Friday, I believe it is already. I guess it'll be Jamaica versus Japan under 24.
Yeah. All right. So people, Dan Horowitz is the person who broke the first news about the withdrawal of the game or the cancellation of the game between Japan and Jamaica. And what I would like to know, what really happened on your side of things? What did you see, and what did you take away from it?
I mean, it all came down to, for whatever reason, I guess the Europe-based Jamaican players didn't take the right test. That seems to be the JFA's explanation. Everyone who was on the US side took the right test. They filled the paperwork out correctly. They got into the country no problem. So something clearly wasn't communicated correctly, and the JFA scrambled a bit, and they're holding all of these international fixtures, and there's a lot of them. There's 9 during this international break across 3 different categories, and they're holding all of them with the cooperation of the Japanese government. And the rule is that the players have to test negative for COVID for 3 days after they land, including the day of the match. So when you only have 10 players, you don't have enough to party. And that's what it came down to. And the JFA had to make the call because I think that there's a lot of attention right now on how we're handling things, especially ahead of the Olympics. And they just switched things up really quickly and decided to play the senior men against the under 24 almost men. And that was our entertainment on Thursday.
Yeah. And how did that went?
The under 24s got pasted. It was 3-0, but they didn't really. It wasn't really an A side. It was a lot of the bench players.
But in the same sense, the under 24 defeated the senior team.
Well, no, I mean, but it was. I mean, I think that if the under 24, I mean, they lost 3-0, but if the under 24 had played their full strength lineup against the Samurai Blues, the senior team's full strength lineup, and which neither team did, it would have been closer. It could have been closer. Because Japan, or excuse me, under 24 didn't start any of their overage players, for example.
Okay.
And that's automatically giving yourself a handicap. And it was all very hastily arranged, and they had to fly. All the travel was involved, and I just think that it was a bit more of a scrimmage than we would have liked. But certainly it did raise questions about what it would look like full strength, and we're not there yet. But there's a lot to be excited for in this under 24 team. Just a very strong squad, lots of talented players. Half of them are based in Europe. The other half, most of them, are going to be based in Europe in the next year or two. So we got a glimpse, and we got a better glimpse on Saturday when Japan played Ghana, or excuse me, when Japan under 20. I've got to keep saying under 24. Under 24, they played Ghana. They won 6-0.
I saw the game. I actually saw the game. That Ghana team was pretty poor.
It was pretty poor, but under 24 looked pretty good. And you saw the Samurai Blue get it done last night against Tajikistan.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to see how the under-24s do against Jamaica, and that's going to be really interesting to see.
Maybe the trademark, the landmark where they're at. All right. So what is it that we are to expect from this Japanese team? What are the players that we should be looking out for, and what system, and also the coach? So let's start off with the coach. Who is the coach, and what system does he like to play?
So the thing is that Hajime Moriyasu, who is the head coach of the senior team, is also going to be coaching the under-24 team at the Olympics. Obviously, he can't coach them right now because he's with the senior team. So they're going to be under Akinobu Yokouchi. And who's a caretaker. So he's not the guy you're going to be seeing next month at the Olympics. They have generally been, Japan likes a 4-back system, so you're looking at 4-2-3-1 is sort of our mainstay formation, sometimes 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm.
But generally 4-2-3-1 is where we like to be, and that's where Japan tends to be the most comfortable. Even though the senior team has been doing a bit of a 4-4-2 experimenting here and there. So I think that the key things to look out for is that you're starting with the back line, and there you have 2 of our 3 overage players, who are Maya Yoshida, who plays for Sampdoria in Italy. He was at Southampton in the Premier League for many years. And Hiroki Sakai at right back. He was with Marseille for several years in the Bundesliga before that, and he's coming back to Japan this summer to close out his career, probably with Urawa. You've got them. You have Takahiro Tomiyasu, the other center back, who's at Bologna right now. And on the at left back will either be, I think it'll probably be Daiki Hashioka, possibly. You could see, well, Tayo Koga is more center back, more right back, so he might be a backup. It's not quite, the left back position isn't quite firmed yet, but they may want to get Yukinari Sugawara into the mix. He plays for AZ Alkmaar in Holland, and it's a strong back line. Your goalkeeper is probably Keisuke Osako. He's I think in the lead. I don't see him losing the starting role. Zion Suzuki is your dark horse player. Maybe he might get a start if they want to test him. I understand that he played in they did a training match against Ghana today. That was behind closed doors, so we don't really know much about. But he's had a really good start. This is his rookie season, and he's doing some amazing things at Urawa. So we might see more from him. At midfield, Wataru Endo plays for Stuttgart in Germany. Arguably one of Japan's best players in Europe.
Yeah.
I've got friends, Japanese writers, who they say there's 2 national teams. There's how the national team looks with Wataru Endo, and there's how he looks when he isn't there. And the one where he isn't there, they gave up a goal last night against Tajikistan, and that was the first goal they gave up in qualifying. So he's damn good.
Yeah, that's good.
Just incredibly skilled. Good with possession, good pass distribution. You go down the list, and there's Yuta Nakayama, who he plays in Zwolle in Holland. He's been basically team captain when Maya Yoshida sort of isn't there, because he's got the team captain role for Samurai Blue, and he'll probably have the armband at the Olympics. You have just Kaoru Mitoma, who's more of an attacking midfielder, sort of your playmaker type.
Number 10.
Robbed. Yes. Yeah, very, very much a number 10 type. Robbed, in my opinion, of the MVP in the league last year. As a substitute, as a super sub. The only reason he didn't get that award is because, one, Kawasaki have the most talented squad in the whole league, and it's hard to be the MVP when you're among a squad that talented. And two, Michael Lunga scored close to 30 goals.
But he's coming off the bench. He's a super sub. So
no, I mean, Mitoma was coming off the bench and just working magic, assists, goals, whatever you want him to do, he will do.
yeah, true.
Ritsu Doan, who's playing on loan in Germany this year, amazing attacking winger. You know, Al Tanaka, another attacking winger for Kawasaki, who's if Tanaka and Mitoma don't go to Europe this year, this summer, I should say, I'll be somewhat surprised. One of them, I guarantee you, one will be gone, and I'm fairly confident that if both acquit themselves, if both make the Olympic squad and both acquit themselves well, both will be gone. At the latest, they're both gone after the season.
That's nice.
Takefusa Kubo. Do I have to say it? You know him. Your viewers know him.
The world knows him.
The world knows him. And he hasn't quite lived up to his potential yet. He's still getting there. You know, he came in with a lot of hype. He's still growing. But you know, it just you watch him with the ball at his feet, and enough said.
One of the best dribblers around town.
One of the best dribblers in town. You know, just an amazing pass sense. Just takes shots that Japanese players have been afraid to take for many years. I think that's been one of the biggest problems that Japan has. We produce tons of great midfielders, great playmakers, great pass distributors, dead ball specialists, Shinsuke Nakamura, Yasuhito Endo, that sort of type. You know, your Keisuke Hondas, but we don't.
Yeah.
We haven't had players with that killer instinct, and Kubo could be that. We're, you know, the jury isn't quite in, but we're hopeful. And then up front, you have Daichi Hayashi, who, you know, is becoming somewhat of a sensation at Sagan Tosu. Daisen Maeda, who is bound. He had a short stint in Europe. It didn't. There were, I believe, some contract issues or that sort of thing, or it might have been COVID related. But in any case, he's back with Yokohama F. Marinos for now. A 40-year-old grizzled veteran in the body of a 23-year-old. Like I don't. Nobody believes he's actually 23. He is, but you know, until you cut him in half and count. Until you cut him in half and count the rings, you're never going to be sure. But no, I mean, he's just. We've talked. His manager Ange Postecoglou is about to be put in charge of Celtic, and he's the kind of player who, if Ange wanted to bring with him, would do well in a more physical league like the Scottish Premiership or the Premier League. He's that kind of player. You know, Ayase Ueda at Kashima Antlers, very talented. Kyosuke Tagawa, I've gotten a few chances to see him in person this season for FC Tokyo. Talented. You know, maybe not my pick for a starter. I think that if you're starting someone up top, I think that it's Maeda's, you know, spot to lose. I think he has to be in your 11.
Who are the three players that we definitely should look out for, because these guys can absolutely hurt us? So give me those three players and the clubs that they're playing for.
Kaoru
Mitoma, well, if you have that.
If the ages, because I'm reading, I've got their birth dates on this sheet, so I have to do the mental math. Kaoru Mitoma, Kawasaki Frontale, he just turned 24 last month. Takefusa Kubo, who is just turned 20. In fact, just turned 20 last week. And then I'd say your third shout is Daisen Maeda at Yokohama F. Marinos, who is 23 and will turn 24 in October.
Okay. All right. And these are some great insights. I think the viewers would really, really enjoy these insights and what the information that you're giving for taking the time out of your day. Hopefully you keep us up to date on if you are able to see the game. You keep me up to date and I can pass on information.
I will be. I mean, I'm not going to be there in person, but it
Okay.
is being broadcast on TV here.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it should get a decent turnout.
Mm-hmm.
I've told you this on Twitter. I'm disappointed in my boys, Andre Blake and Corey Burke.
Corey Burke.
I would have loved to see them come here. That's my team. That's
Yeah.
my hometown. It would have been nice to see them in person because, Lord, I can't go back to Philadelphia, so I would have been nice to catch them, even if we couldn't meet in person. That's why I'm wearing this uniform. But
Yeah.
It'll be good. I'll tell you. I still remember Jamaica's last game against the senior Japan team in 2014. Which I think I told you a little bit about. And that was, Japan won 1-0, but that was a pretty close thing.
Yeah.
Who was the goalkeeper? Brian Thompson,
Ryan.
was that it?
Yes,
Ryan.
exactly. So
Played on his head. That was an amazing game.
What's your predictions for this game?
Oof. 3, I think like 3-0, 4-1, something along those lines. In
favor of Japan.
In favor of Japan, and I mean that with no disrespect to Jamaica.
No man, come on, we're fair. We're fair.
But I think that the risk they face is but because there is an age gap. I mean, this is an under 24 team going against. I don't quite know the average age of your senior squad
27.
and the squad here.
I think it's 27.
So there is going to be a difference there, and I think that if things fall, if they give up an early goal, for example, it might be a closer thing. But it's just such a talented squad, and Jamaica just being in the position that they were in, having the game against the Samurai Blue canceled. I know there was a 1-1 draw against Serbia a couple days ago, which we know nothing about that game. JFA didn't tell us anything about that.
Really?
So,
wow.
Nothing. Wow. We were told nothing.
That's sad. That's really sad.
I mean, I don't know how many Japanese media would have gone to cover it if they had the chance, but
it was covered because I stand here and watch it in my country, so it was duly covered. So I have no clue why they didn't speak about it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that with I don't know how it is over there, but with the restrictions here, only I think 50 reporters are allowed into each game. For the national team and the league, and normally for the Samurai Blue, it's double that who come to a game. Okay. So, and especially since we can all get to the press conferences at home, so there hasn't been as much interest. Nobody's rushing around to fly back across the country when the closest they can get to the players is a computer monitor. So which is basically what the Olympics are going to be.
All right. So for me, I think we might nick this one, maybe a 2-1. I do know that Japan team is dangerous, but for me, I think we will nick this 2-1. I saw some convincing stuff in the Serbia game that I think that if we should tweak a few things, we will actually be a good team, one of the most formidable team in the CONCACAF region. So we have a few more players to join this team as well. So this is literally our B team that is in Japan right at this moment, because we have players such as Michael Antonio to come in. Leon Bailey is not here. Kemar Roof, that's at Rangers. There's a lot of players to come in. Bobby Reed from Fulham. So we have a lot of players to come in at the same sense. But this is our B team. But I'm still expecting us to go out there and put on a solid performance. So Dan Orlowitz, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. The time out to give us your insight and what they were expecting of the Japan team. And I'm telling you, it will be a good game. It'll be a very, very good game. But thank you again for joining. And people, please smash the like button and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. And Big up, bro. Thank you for coming on to the show. I really appreciate it.
No problem.